let's move over to the questions. So we only got 8 of them right now, but usually they roll in while we start. So let me look through one. GrayGod, this one's for you. What did Steve tell you about locker events? I don't know what that means.
Well, he told me that it's not, like I said before, it's not mandatory for people to finish them.
Right.
That if you just play them and get as far as you can and get those rewards, that should be good enough. But I mean, it's not mandatory. But I mean, if you're on a good competitive team, you're going to want to finish them anyways. So
yeah, I mean, and considering the only good rewards are in the last few packs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely, I agree with that. And if you want those fucking outfits, man.
Outfits.
You want that Buddha box, you got to finish it.
All about those outfits.
Do we think that Dougie will be nerfed back down?
No.
So that he is easier to stop.
Not fast enough.
Not fast enough.
It'll happen. I just don't think it'll happen quickly.
I think just get ready to deal with it, guys. It's here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they touch Barrel Dougie's damage and that's it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think it's here to stay.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if maybe in the next season or two they readjust his health down a little bit, but like Glanzer was saying, I think if they make any change in the near future, it's going to be to maybe just reduce Barrel Dougie's damage a little bit to bring him a little bit more in line with the others. But
I will say Power Fist is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's really fucking powerful.
That freeze is legit.
Oh yeah, easily.
It's almost impossible to deal with him outside of removal.
Yep. All right, let's see
because
here.
I mean, he lets you basically he is like his own removal, because like you throw an assassin out against him, like one assassin's not going to be able to take him out. He's going to get his freeze off. Then you can play something else, and then if they have like freeze ray or
because he doesn't freeze until after he hits. If the freeze came in like a little bit before he hit, so that you could maybe drop something in between the freeze and the hit, and then try to stop him. But yeah, I mean, you really got to wait till you take a hit to try to stop him.
Right, and once you've taken that hit and that freeze goes off, you're almost definitely losing a bar at that point. He's almost definitely getting a second hit off.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this question goes back to what we were talking about, the like the pay to win kind of tactics that they've been doing. Do we think it's Ubisoft, RedLynx, or even South Park Studios that kind of dictates that?
You know,
I think it's not South Park Studios.
Yeah, that's not South Park.
I wouldn't be so sure. Like, I want to believe that it's not South Park, but
well, based on how I know those relationships work, they get a flat licensing fee, so they don't make any money from how the game does usually. If they have some stipulations in the contract about getting money from the stuff, but I don't think South Park Studios would have any say in the actual game creation other than the assets and what they can and can't use and what they can and can't show. And that's from my experience in using IPs like this. I could be wrong, it could be different.
I think you're probably right, and I think that's why they created that little disclaimer at the beginning, and they told Ubisoft, RedLynx, whatever monetization thing you're going to do, we can't control that, but we want you to put this disclaimer at the beginning, so that way we can sleep at night. Basically, is why they did it.
Yeah.
I agree that it's definitely Ubisoft or RedLynx. Probably Ubisoft, just with the way that the major studios are going lately. Even Blizzard is coming out with a fucking hyper monetized Diablo phone game.
Yeah.
So, God, the backlash about that, but
they typically do the producing company typically does have the most. I mean, just like a movie producer, they have the most financial stake in the game.
Yeah, and that would be Activision controlling Blizzard in that case. So
exactly.
I feel like it's
especially
Ubisoft with their hand in it most.
Especially after those screenshots leaked of them discussing the monetization model that they're proposing in Diablo 4 and stuff, and it just confirmed what everybody was outraged over, and it's like, come on, man, like nobody enjoys this. Like this, the only people that this is fun for are people with like pretty deep pockets, I think.
Well, they said that game is made for China. Blizzard straight up announced that like this game's made for the Chinese. So it's like, okay, well, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Way to kill your IP.
All right. So next question. SDNW, are you excited to use Imp Tweek?
I am excited to use Imp Tweek. I think he's a cool card. I've wanted to use him a long time, but every time I play him, he fucking wastes all my energy. 5 energy was too much for him, so it'll be fun to play him. We'll still have to see how good and effective he actually is.
Definitely. And if they fix some of the bugs with the Warcry.
I'm excited to see Imp Tweek.
Yeah.
I don't have him at level 4, so I'm not going to be playing him. But I am excited to see like if the change actually makes him playable, and if it does, then that will probably influence me to actually start aggressively picking him up when he comes into the PvP.
I did almost lose to an Imp Tweek Ninja combo the other day. So to see him to actually lose to that might be kind of interesting.
I had someone do that to me the other day too, and I just UC'd the Imp. And I was just like, suck it.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did. I think I was up 2 bars, so I didn't even care, but it was still cool to see.
Yep. That was the combo I talked about. I've been talking about doing is Imp Tweek into well, no, what was it? It was Youth Pastor Craig into Imp Tweek into Ninju, so that Ninju is blocking for the
whatever gets switched,
Craig.
yeah.
And that way you have 1 or however much damage buffed Youth Pastor Craig on top of the Imp Tweek that they need to immediately deal with. So
yeah,
it's a lot of energy, but
people, me and Execute were talking about this last night. People really underestimate Youth Pastor Craig. He does a pretty good amount of damage. He's got a really quick attack animation, and all the Craigs actually, their standing DPS is extremely high compared to other range characters.
For sure.
Except for Ink and Craig, like Ink and Craig's damage doesn't feel nearly in line.
Ink sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Ink sucks.
He's a buff in line with Medusa.
He is the worst legendary in the game.
Yeah,
I think I've had people fucking waste my cards with him. Like he doesn't have the amount of damage at like 3,
Yeah, his Warcry does a good amount of damage. I think he could use a damage increase on his throwing. I don't think he needs to have the same health that Medusa Bebe has.
Well, I don't think she needs to have as much health as she has either.
Yes,
That's true. Yeah,
she does.
Don't you fucking dare. She's a ranged tank, guys. That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah, and her snakes are pretty much awful, other than like they absorb like a hit from something. That's about the best thing they do. The amount of damage they
tanking,
do.
Man. More tanking. That's all she is. Tank.
Yep.
Don't fuck with my tanks, man.
All right, so next question. Execute mentioned earlier that perhaps the way to fix Dougie would be to slow his headhunter speed down, the initial speed. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah,
I think that's not a bad idea. I've had a couple of situations where an opponent has played a Dougie, and then I had Tally, and I was able to slow the Dougie down with Tally, and it gave me enough time to get enough damage on him.
I honestly think reducing the HP though is a better way to go for the Dougie players and for everybody else, because it gives them the chance to still get a hit if they play the combo correctly or whatever. But it also gives like defenders a better chance to stop it.
Most of the time you see him with Paladin or Drow Elves anyway. So the health reduction, I still don't think it should be enough where one assassin could take him out, but an Arrow Storm of equal level should definitely fucking kill him. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, an assassin of a level higher plus a Nuke Zap should definitely kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think changing the speed of Dougie could have negative effects for like the combo opportunities, because if you're trying to put like Paladin Butter Shield and then now you're slowing Dougie down, like that's going to make that combo a lot less effective overall. So I still think that adjusting his HP is probably the better way to rebalance him to make him useful. Like I said, make him high risk, high reward, because that's the type of card he is. He's a glass cannon, and that's glass cannons typically are supposed to be high risk, high reward.
Right.
Do you think there would ever be an addition to each theme other than Mystic that can feel as rewarding as Pope does?
Sure.
Or is there a current thing that feels as rewarding as Pope? I think Unholy Combustioning a Pope is just as rewarding as anything else. Or Lightning Bolting him is even better.
I mean, pre-legendary
mind controlling Stand of Many Moons pretty.
Mind controlling a Dougie, that's pretty fucking fun too.
I used to combo Sheriff's charge ability plus Rogue Token and kill their entire team all the time. I miss doing that. but I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing that to be addressed sort of with a lot of the cards getting health buffs, a lot of charge abilities such as Sheriff and other charge that does damage and stuff really don't shine at all anymore because there's just so much fucking damage. I mean, even Witch Doctor, it's less about the damage, usually more about the fucking area of effect damage that you can hit.
Right.
You can clear out the last third of people's bars at one time instead of actually chunking somebody.
Poison is just awful now.
Poison's terrible, yeah.
Even
level 7 poison won't even kill like a level 3 Mechatomy. It's horrible.
It's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there could be some fun. I mean, there are fun combos in every deck, but Pope is definitely one of those cards that is just consistently rewarding. And I don't think there is a lot of stuff like that in the other decks. At least the card itself, because Pope doesn't necessarily combo with another card. It's just Pope itself.
Yeah. As for individual cards, I think Adventure has Stand Many Moons, which is absolutely game breaking. Sci-fi is a ton of stuff that's really stupid, but Mind Control would be my number one for Sci-fi, being just absolutely ridiculous card. Just being able to use anyone else's abilities and stuff like that is pretty oppressive. And for Fantasy, I would say Cock Magic is just so strong. It's just so damn strong.
Have you guys run into the people running level 7 pigeons and then cock magicking themselves, and then just roll in your face with the level 7 cocks?
Wow, that's a bold strategy.
It's pretty fucking strong, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I guess you kill everything with the pigeons, and then they bring out an answer to the pigeons, and you pop cock magic, and it's like suck it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can get pretty crazy. Do we think Adventure will get a buff?
It needs to.
I don't know.
At
At this point,
Adventure's boring as fuck to me. Like the only thing that like Adventure does is play Stand of Many Moons, and if Hook Hand Clyde, if your Hook Hand Clyde is like good in a game, then you feel like God, and if your Hook Hand Clyde sucks in a game, you feel like fucking Dead Flounder or something.
Yeah. Most of the Adventure rares aren't playable anymore. Like Captain Wendy used to be great. Sheriff used to be great. Like you can't play those cards
Lightning
anymore.
Bolt is really the only one that
Bolt and Fireball are both really.
They have good spells, but I mean everything has good
Fireball's
spells.
high enough level.
I think Execute would fight you on the Captain Wendy.
I think you really need.
I was gonna say Captain Wendy is still relatively effective.
Yeah, Captain Wendy.
But you do have to have him.
She's okay, but she's outclassed by every Bebe.
Yeah.
Right.
Just run her and a Bebe.
And Adventure Bebe is definitely the worst Bebe.
Yeah. She's the best when you're trolling in Silver Shield, though. That's for damn sure. She gets stacked to 230 because they play pigeons into her, and then she survives both of the New Kid Blast.
I mean, dude, be honest, though. Like, a level 5 Blood Elf Bebe would just be just as oppressive as Silver Shields, or a level 5 Robo Bebe.
Yeah, but it's just not as fast.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, once you can get that Bebe going, like she just gets fucking crazy.
Yeah, and that is one the incredible thing about Buccaneer is that once you get her stacked enough, she can start one-shotting fighters, and it's just like fucking game over.
Yeah,
I don't think they can buff Adventure without totally getting rid of and punishing everyone who's been Adventure locking.
Oh, that's a good point.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Are those people still around though? I mean, I don't.
Oh yeah, Jammin's top 100 with his Adventure deck. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jammin's still around.
There are a few people I've seen with full Adventure lock.
I haven't seen Chosen One in forever.
All level 5 epics, all level 4 legends.
I think Adventure probably suffered more than any other theme from the epic and legendary buffs.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah.
Adventure,
it was a very common dependent theme.
Right. They got Stand of Many Moons, arguably probably the best legendary in the game right now. So I mean, they still have a really, really strong legendary. Lightning Bolt is still really strong. Hook Hand Clyde is situationally powerful. Outside of that, I mean, you have maybe like Captain Wendy, like not too bad, but
they don't have their assassin spam, and that was what made
the assassin suck.
So good.
Heidi sucks now. Sheriff Cartman really kind of sucks.
Yeah, Sheriff Cartman's pretty bad. Sorry, GrayGod.
Yeah, man, but Heidi with that 2-drop, that 2-drop defense is surprisingly good in a lot of decks.
Yes,
Yeah.
Haji,
Especially in a super
storyteller can
heavy.
be situationally good. I agree with that. He's just not always.
I
gonna be
don't
good.
think storyteller's very good.
It's
No.
kind of like he's kind of like
Tali's
Tally
better.
in my opinion. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's
You
kind of
gotta
like
play 'em
Tally in
both.
my opinion.
You got to play the Bash Brothers together, or else they suck.
But even Tally's not just always going to be good.
Right.
But I think Tally is
Yeah,
probably
Tally
more
needs more
useful than
attack.
storyteller.
I think
Tally needs more
needs some
attack.
buffs.
Yeah, he's got a really really slow attack speed.
Yeah, he doesn't have.
I don't think he should hit as hard as like a dog poo, but
No way. No,
he
but
definitely
I mean,
should be doing more than like
at
70.
level 4, he's got what,
Nine.
70 or something like that. It's
I think it's like 78 or so. Yeah, it's
it
pretty
should
low.
be. It should be at least close to 100 in my opinion.
He'll be in my tank deck if he gets buffed. So
Yeah.
he will be in my tank deck.
But
Yeah,
I think
like
at
what
this
Dodd
point,
said, if you can keep units off of Tally, like with a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of cocks or something, then having his slow effect is really, really powerful.
That's true.
yeah, I think Tally and Storyteller are pretty much only good with Swarm decks, but at the same time, there's just better options, to defend. I mean, any Bebe is better. But I think at this point, Adventure is more what Fantasy used to be, where it's just like the utility deck that you use for 2 or 3 cards, and then that's it. Because I think if you look at all of my decks are orange. Like when you look at them, they're majority sci-fi.
I think the mystical adventure deck that most people play runs basically the only adventure cards it's running are Stand of Many Moons, Lightning Bolt maybe, or Aerostorm maybe, and then Hook Hand Clyde pretty much, and then you might see the occasional Captain Windy or the occasional Fireball if they have them at a high enough level.
I'll just stuff Stand of Many Moons in my Green Dream decks just because he's just so good. He's so good. He makes my full green decks go from being like maybe top 25 to being top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like just one card, one change, and it's that's it. One card, all it takes.
All right. Do we think
needs a nerf.
do we think that it's possible for RedLynx to make a community deck challenge that is balanced? I think they mean community deck, not necessarily the ones where like Druzy and stuff made them, but like just the pre-made decks at all.
I think they came closer last time. If they incorporate like 6 or 7 of the same cards and then have other things that kind of make each one a little more distinguished and different, I think it's possible. But like the cores of the decks have to be the same.
Yeah.
The decks
then that's
all
kind of
felt
boring
really
now.
balanced. That's the trade-off, is that the last challenge felt too boring. But like I said, I think the big reason for that was because every deck had Satan in it, and it was like Satan was like just the equalizer, and everybody had it. So
it makes it more boring, but it also makes it more skill determinable than just whatever the gimmick is of the week.
Outside of the issue with Satan,
I won with every deck just fine in that challenge.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every deck felt playable. And just outside of Satan, I think it was a very balanced format this time around. But like if you're talking about community decks, like what happened with Pharaoh and Druzy in them, I think if they did another round of that and then actually had the 4 people like really work together to come up with some decks that played well against each other that were fairly balanced.
Like if we 4 did it right now.
Yeah. That, I mean, you would have to spend a little bit of time, making sure you were building something that worked. And if everybody just agreed, all right, let's not use just the cookie cutter cards, let's try and use something a little bit different, make sure we do some testing, make sure they all play fairly well against each other, and then submit it. You might have to spend 3 or 4 days like really working on it, but I think that would be a lot of fun. And
if they ever do a monotype challenge where it's every theme gets their own pre-made deck, for the love of God, they better have me do the Mystic deck.
I'll take Fantasy.
I'll do the sci-fi one.
Rage in the community if they don't let me make the Mystic deck.
I'll do the sci-fi one for sure.
I would be curious to see how a challenge like that would work. Like would you allow the inclusion of neutral along with like a single theme plus neutral, or you just want single theme?
Right. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Single theme plus neutral. Neutral doesn't count as a theme. Neutral's just, it doesn't have a hat, so it doesn't count.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would be interested to see like if you could do that in a way that would would be
Well
balanced.
I think you could. You could. I've played around just in the deck builder and made decks that are effective in friendlies, at least for every theme.
You just have to identify the oppressive aspects of each theme and try to not include
Stay
those.
away from
Right.
old mono green without Zen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Mystic, what makes Mystic so usable, like I said, I'm running mono green in challenge mode right now, and the thing that makes it so oppressive is Maxi and Zen, and then being able to PCP and Terrence and Phillip, and then you have like I have Hallelujah and Regen in there, and you just become such a big wall that it's hard for things to get through you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite thing. That's what I like about Mystic. I like the tank aspect, the tank and healing. So, but that's definitely its most oppressive quality.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, I'm going to rapid fire a couple of these questions because we did answer some of them earlier. Would we like to see an expansion in PvE mode? We talked about that earlier. I think everybody would be on board with some more shit.
Release the superhero theme. You
superhero theme.
Greedy fucks.
Also, what's the worst theme? I think we decided like theme only. I think adventure is the weakest. If you could only play one theme, adventure would probably be the worst deck.
Mm-hmm.
That or fantasy.
It's probably fantasy now, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantasy really doesn't have any good legendaries, like at all.
It has Windy, which is okay.
Yeah, I've never felt like I was gonna lose to a Wendy though. So
right.
I have. When that bitch gets on my tower and I can't kill her.
Fantasy does have really good removal options, and it has chicken.
Has the best common assassins.
It's got amazingly
That's true
Randy,
too.
Blood Elf Bebe. You can Grand Wizard Cartman in a standalone fantasy deck is just fine tank wise.
It's not bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just not as good as any of the other teams right now.
I feel like sci-fi by itself would be really weak because they really don't have any kind of effective removal other than.
That's a good point. That's a good
AQR.
Shalazar and our team
other than AQR.
Monotype sci-fi in top 100 for a little bit, and
if you're really good with mind control, I could see that being used.
Yeah, mind control you'd have to use really well to be like your removal.
But every other theme has a way to deal with pretty much a problem card when it appears.
Mind control mecha and cyborg carries the shit out of that.
All right. Do you still think that it's worth refreshing packs, or should people just wait and get offers?
No, don't. Refreshing PvP packs just feels like a complete waste of in-game cash to me.
I think it depends where you are in the game.
Yeah.
Like if you're low level, you're in Silver Shield or whatever, you're trying to work your way up to Legendary, you should definitely be refreshing because that's the only way you're going to get cards to get to that point. But if you're like a top 300 player in Legendary, it doesn't really do much for you nowadays.
You can get cards just through requesting and through doing the events. I don't know that. I don't know. Like, to me, especially if you're a free-to-play player, the only thing you want to be spending your money on is when legendaries pop up in your locker.
But then how are you going to have the mats to upgrade those legendaries?
That's true.
I mean, you're just going to have to do your pack every 4 hours, and then you can get stuff out of doing the 24-hour event. You can get stuff out of doing, challenge modes, I think. Refreshing
challenge mode is the best.
Right.
For new players.
If you can consistently get at least 8 wins, for sure, yeah.
That's true. But
you do have to get your commons and stuff up to that level, which
like that's people to me try to do that.
That's the worst thing about challenge mode. They should have made it with the friendly battle rules, where as long as you have the card, it's going to be max, a set level. I don't like limiting new players to accessing a mode like that just because they haven't spent enough money or invested X amount of time. Like, I think it should be open and enable for people to compete, unless you're going to separate those people out from people who are in Legendary or something, like do it by ladder or something to where they're fighting.
There should be there should be challenge tiers, I believe. There really
that could be an effective way to deal with it, but there has to be a way to let even newer players compete in the challenges, because the way it is right now, it's just really not fun.
Well, it's meant to be kind of end game stuff. It's not meant to be. You'd have to be level 10 to do it. So I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think I mean, it
If
doesn't
it's
take
meant to
any.
be
It doesn't
in-game,
take any mats and any shit to get epics to level 2, rares to level 3. Like it really doesn't take much time at all.
it takes longer than getting past the stage 10 in the game. Like if you're saying that this is supposed to be an in-game thing, then make it an in-game thing. Make it accessible once you get to the end game. Like once maybe you get to the legendary ladder, you can start doing challenge modes or something. But like if you're going to make it accessible to people at the very beginning of the game, once you get out of the tutorial, then that's not in-game content, man. That's pretty much beginning of the game content, and it should be
but it gives you
accessible to
something to
people.
grind for. Like you said, it sucks to use PvP packs because you're not making any progress. But if you're getting the progress to get maxi to 4, are you getting the progress to get
yeah, but you're getting
it is
shit
an
out of those
incentive.
early PvP packs, man. Those early PvP
Yeah,
packs.
I'm not talking about silver. I don't think it's worth refreshing packs in silver. You shouldn't. I think it's a waste because you just wait till you're legend and you'll get way more bang for your buck. So if you're really talking about these free to play players who they're not getting any cash except the 200 or so from events, they should not be refreshing packs at all until they're legend, in my opinion. And maybe picking up epics in the shop when it's one away from leveling or something like that. That would be it for me.
I don't think there's 45 in-game cash worth of value at any point in the game inside of PvP packs, period. Like no matter what, there's at no point in your progression is there 45 cash worth of value in PvP packs.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's about doing them a lot. Because the people who are refreshing it aren't refreshing 1 or 2 a day. They're refreshing and getting 60 packs in a locker limit.
Right, but at that point, you would be better off saving your money and waiting for either legendaries to show up in your locker or doing challenge modes.
Oh no, my level 6 enforcer begs to differ.
I just refresh on stream just so people have something to look
at. Yeah, for sure. If I don't refresh when I'm just playing for fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I do it on stream because if I'm gonna be sitting there,
but with no rewards. So.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll fucking play for 3 hours on locker limit.
Yep.
Which I could not fucking do, man.
I mean, I've done it before too, so I get it.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, nothing in the game is really worth the amount of money it's for. To be completely honest, nothing is priced very well.
To answer that question, Dobbs, yes, I would. If you're free to play and saving 2,000 in-game cash for a specific legendary in your shop, especially if you're close to getting that legendary to level 2 or to level 3 and you're a low level, like it's going to be the copy that puts you over the edge. Absolutely, I think it's worth the 2,000 cash. I wouldn't be spending 2,000 cash on a legendary in my shop if I was like sitting at 0 and 4 or something.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Getting them to 2 of 8 isn't really worth it, but to get that last 3 of 4, because like we've said before, you could sit on that 3 of 4 for the rest of your fucking life. You might never get that card.
Especially because RedLynx has already admitted that once you get to like 3 out of 4 on a legendary, the chance that you're going to get that legendary again is a lot lower than legendaries that you don't have at 3 out of 4.
Admittedly, when I am close to maxing out a legendary, if I'm sitting at like 7 of 8 or 3 or 4, I will sit there and I'll refresh packs just because it's like I fucking want that goddamn card. So,
right. Yeah, I was like that with Marcus.
I know my odds are lower, but it's like I don't care. When you're that close, you're just like, dude, give it to me fucking now.
I was 99 of 100 on Marcus for like 3 weeks, and I just like every PvP pack, it was like, please.
I'm at 96 right now. I'm pretty hyped for that. It'll be my first non mystic epic to 5.
Nice, dude. He's good. He's good at level 5, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I might run him in a tank deck just because he's an effective little fat ass. So
yeah, 1,000 health, 100 attack, pretty good. All right. What's the next card not affiliated with an episode? Probably one of the garrisons.
Jesus.
Or Jesus.
Yeah, Santa maybe.
Santa. That'd be pretty funny.
That would
Zombie
be cool.
Santa dies and comes back at half health. All right.
I want Santa with an AK-47, or I haven't seen the episode in a while. Santa with whatever machine gun he's using in the what is it, the Christmas in Iraq episode, whatever that's called, Red Sleigh Down.
Yeah,
Red Sleigh Down. Yeah.
Yeah, give Stan a machine gun, make him a ranged tank like Medusa. Yep, I like it.
Yeah, and on kill he makes little elves.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like maybe throw us presents or something.
Make him a fantasy card.
AoE present bombs.
I've always thought that it would be cool to have a card where it starts out range and then it becomes melee. Like I thought Hanky would be cool if the first 3 attacks he throws his kids and they poison, and then he goes to a assassin or something like that. I think that would be pretty interesting.
I thought Shelly would make a great version of that. She would throw like tampons or something from a distance, and then if she enrages, she goes like full Hulk mode and starts like launching people across the screen, like she does in the show.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, what would you guys do, or what would you like to see done to promote a healthier, less stale meta?
More frequent balance changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Commons rebuffed to be more in line with, and rares a little bit too. Some, not all rares, but some rares. I mean, just basically commons brought back more in line with epics and not necessarily maybe legendaries, but epics especially. Like,
right.
I just want
I
to
wrote a whole long letter about what I thought. You can go read it.
Yeah, if you, I mean, I think that's like the perfect place to start, is bringing the commons, especially a little bit back up more in line, because then I think decks like Adventure Fantasy would start to come back to some extent, and it would help balance out the meta a little bit, and it would make Adventure at least more competitive.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. The best way to make it less stale would just be have the balance, let there be more options. And unfortunately, with games like this, every single balance patch, there's always going to be something that comes out ahead.
It's meta shifts. That's how.
And
that's
even
how
like we've talked about this plenty of times, where even if every card was perfectly balanced, some are going to be easier to play than others, and that will become the meta. Is which ones are the easiest to play, the easiest to get their value from, and that will become what people will go for.
But see, the thing is, though, is like in a healthy game environment, like take Magic, for example, like when you look at the meta, you're usually looking at different tiers. So you have like tier 1 are usually like your 2, maybe 3 that are like the de facto, these are the best decks, quote unquote. And then you have like your tier 1.5, which are they're decks that aren't quite as consistent, aren't quite as powerful as the tier 1 decks, but when they go off and you set them up, they can be more explosive than the tier 1 decks or more powerful than the tier 1 decks. They just require a little bit of work. And then you have like your tier 2 and it go. But here, like in this game, you have your basically you're playing right now. It's Mystic X or sci-fi fantasy, and then the rest is just nowhere near as good. Like,
I think the game was in its best state of balance in February, right before the initial BFU, which made Hyperdrive out of its mind.
I completely agree. Yes, that was the most balanced the game has ever been.
I don't think it'll ever reach that state of balance. Every combination was effective back then. Even though, I mean, yes, you had Adventure Fantasy reigning supreme with the assassin spam. But
green was just as good.
Yeah, you could do whatever you wanted in that meta, and it was effective. People said like sci fantasy was the worst, but
yeah, I was gonna say except for like sci-fi fantasy, because like poison and mind control felt kind of bad back when green had.
Even that though, there were still top 25 players that were running sci fantasy at that time.
Adorno played it for a while, didn't he?
Adorno played Mystic Sci-Fi
he played Mystic Sci-Fi
for a season.
I know David played it in the top 25, played Sci Fantasy, and Bus Driver played. What was his name? Is Confused Beam, I think was his name before that. But he played Sci Fantasy, so there were a few people that were playing it to great effect.
Yeah, what Gandera said is true. Poison was a nightmare to Adventure Fantasy back in that meta, so it just wasn't effective against green players. But like you said, I mean, that's a rock paper scissors format, right? And that's kind of
that's what we want.
Right, that's what you want. You want a rock paper scissors format, because then you can gauge the meta and you can say, okay, well, I'm running into 60 to 70% of the players I'm running into are playing Adventure Fantasy, so I probably want to play something with poison in it to counter that. And whatever you play, but you're able to gauge the meta, and then there's a response to it. In this meta, it's just there's 2 decks basically. Mystic X or Sci-Fi Fantasy, and
I really honestly think Mystic Sci-Fi and Sci Fantasy are the two strongest right now. And I know people are going to kind of flame on me, but even if you look at the top 10 right now, the shift has gone on that it's now primarily Mystic Sci-Fi for top 10. So
I play. I have a
big
Mystic
shift.
Sci-Fi deck, and I have a Sci-Fi Fantasy deck. I play both of them, and
There's been a big shift to that.
they're both really good.
Yeah.
Those are the two strongest themes at the moment, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Mystic Fantasy is actually pretty good too. If you have a decent level ninja and you're running Cox and stuff like that, can be pretty hard to deal with. Especially
Satan kind of shit on Mystic Fantasy though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Satan coming in really did it because
yeah,
Doc McCock used to run the ninja Cox on me and it would fuck me up almost every time. And now that I have Satan, it's just like, yep, sorry man, you're not touching me. I'm ready for it. It's it.
All right, we got a couple more questions. I'm gonna cut off the questions here, so any new ones we won't answer. If you want to swap your team, if you want to swap teams to help another team, who's raiding me? Nagger, come on. Do you think it's fair? Or sorry, if you want to swap teams to help another team, do you need to not open the pack so the items don't disappear from lockers?
You need to wait until you have all the packs open. You just need to wait. If you're gonna swap teams, you need to open every single goddamn pack in the team pack before you're in the team event.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is, I think when you're in a team, whether or not you see the event tokens in your lockers is dependent just on whether your team is finished or not. It doesn't have anything else.
Oh, okay.
But you don't want to switch. You don't want to switch before you open because you won't be able to open your packs. Or at least the team. You might still be able to do the solo ones, but you can't do the team ones. So definitely open all your packs before you switch, and then you should be able. If the team that you switch to is still working on the event, you should still get the tokens. Other question is, do you think it's fair that the first 4 games in challenge mode matches you with harder opponents because you got a good MMR? I think it's just based on your total challenge wins. So it's just basically gonna put you with people who play challenge as much as you.
Didn't they recently make a change to that though? Because it feels like now that my first 4 opponents aren't always significantly harder than my last 8 opponents.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any. I don't feel like any sets are harder than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah,
every once in a while, my
no
first
change the whole way through.
Yeah, every once in a while, my first game will be my only loss. But otherwise, it used to be where I would get to 8. And then I lose 8 and 9, and then I'd win 6 in a row. But I don't know. It's weird.
I know.
It's luck of the draw, really.
A few weeks ago, every time I did a challenge, or like a month or so ago, every time I was doing a challenge, it felt like my first 4 games were against very difficult, or my first 4 wins, not necessarily my first 4 games, but my first 4 wins were against significantly harder opponents. And then after I got those first 4 wins, almost always I was coasting through the last 8 games, and the last couple of weeks have felt like I might run into a couple of hard opponents in the first 4 wins, but I'm also running into some difficult opponents kind of toward the end of the spectrum as well.
I seem to always hit my toughest opponents at 11 and 12, like at the very end.
Yeah. Well, I've
had much harder than anybody else.
I've noticed that 12 a lot of the times is almost a gimme. Like I've gone up against a lot of 12 wins where the guy doesn't have the max level cards. So
oh wow,
I don't know what's going on with that. And I think Roman used to say that too. Like the 12th one is almost always a free win, or at least a free win to a good player.
To me, it feels like on the upper end of the challenge mode, the hard games come around 8, 9, 10, maybe 11. But yeah, usually 12 feels like a gimme.
Yep. All right, guys, this will be the last question, and this is actually to everybody, including everybody in chat. So if you want to drop, your thoughts on it, it'll be cool for everybody to read. As well as if you're watching on YouTube, drop it in the comments. And the question is, to everybody, is there a point where you will be finished playing, and if so, what is that point? Like, what's the red line that RedLynx must not cross, or maybe a goal you set for yourself that you want to achieve before quitting? Great question, by the way. I don't know who asked that. Fantastic question.
Yeah,
I'm not going to quit. I'm probably just going to keep playing it. South Park.
I took a break I took a month-long break when I got really frustrated. Right after the legendary update, I played for like a week and a half. Couldn't figure out a deck I liked that was good enough against everything that wasn't green. So I took like a 3-week hiatus and then came back and played around with sci-fi fantasy for a long time and finally found something I liked. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where I'm going to completely quit, though. Like, I love my team. I love the community. Like, the game's really fun.
GrayGod.
I love everybody. This is great. I just wish that RedLynx would do more to balance things. And if they will, then, I'll stick around indefinitely.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I think that if this game goes like how Clash Royale went, it'll be really good because Clash Royale is huge now, and apparently it sucked in its first year, but after its first year, it started getting way better, apparently. So hopefully, fingers crossed for that.
If the move to server side ends up being another BFU colossal failure, that might be enough to make me think about not playing anymore. So this is, I think, really going to be the straw for a lot of people, is if this server side transition happens. And they've been making so many promises about all the things that this transition is going to fix. And if that doesn't happen, I think a lot of people are going to look for something else.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, SDNW. I'll play this game until the server shut down. Partially because of the time and money I've invested into it. It's kind of like, what's that? There's like a word for it.
Lost sunken cost fallacy.
Sunken cost, there you go. Fallacy. And it's totally true, because I could not live with myself if I just stopped playing, because the amount of time, not necessarily the money, because money is not super a worry for me in any way.
I wouldn't feel so bad if I could sell my account, but my account's tied to my main Google account, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Try having fucking iOS, man.
I mean, when I quit Animation Throwdown, I was able to sell my account because it wasn't tied to anything. I just sold it to somebody and recouped everything.
Pot committed. There you go.
Yeah,
some poker.
But
yeah, because I mean I love, and not only because I stream it, it's definitely a benefit because of the community, and the viewers for the stream, but I truly do enjoy playing this game, and lately in my life, I haven't been enjoying video games very much. I played Destiny 1 3,000 hours, and I played Destiny 2 maybe 400. Like I just don't like playing games as much, and that's partially because I'm an adult now. I have less time to play, and so I can't really dump 40 hours into an RPG like I used to be able to.
Having on mobile is so nice too.
Exactly, yeah. Being on mobile, playing wherever you are, but still being able to play on my PC with BlueStacks. And I do love the community. There are some people who are real pieces of shit, but you gotta appreciate their gusto. And
Olamp is gone now, so.
And so it's just it's enjoyable in a lot of ways. And as much as you may disagree with some of the choices, as far as like the pay to win stuff and other stuff, the game is way better from a quality of life than day one. Like absolutely is. Challenge mode is cool. The Tuesday events are pretty cool. Mixing stuff up with the cards and the abilities, mixing stuff up with on the weekends, 4 PvP packs in 2 hours. Like, they're constantly changing, and it's really cool to be part of a game that is being developed while you're playing it, like actually developed, not just like balance changes and stuff, but actually, stuff is being added and stuff like that. So I don't think I'll ever stop. It would have to be like a life thing where like I no longer have the time, but I doubt that would ever happen.
Yeah, I mean the good
Nagger,
thing
you
about
are a piece of shit.
The good thing about it is that you don't have to spend any more money, and like I said, the best thing to me is that you can at least complete the events every week without having to constantly dump money into the game. So there are things about the game that I think they do better than other pay to win platforms. There's still a lot of work, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same level with you, or the same opinion as you guys. I doubt that I'm going to stop playing, but I'm going to be incredibly disappointed if this server side transition doesn't fix anything. And if I was going to quit, I think that would be the point where I would say, okay, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. Kind of.
I'll definitely stop spending before I stop playing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in David's position where you now have all level 6 legendaries and no one's a fucking challenge like almost ever for you. I can't see that's like too much. I can't imagine. Like I still have a challenge, and
yeah, that would get
challenging. I play like mono green and stuff like that in fun decks. It's more about fun.
Right. Yeah. It is at a certain. It will most likely be, instead of not playing for you, SDNW, it would be not caring about your rank anymore.
Yeah,
and then
that's next season. Get ready for it, guys. Get ready for the ridiculous decks.
For some, and then for others of us, it's just not spending as much money. I mean, I used to drop a lot more and refresh packs a lot more, and now I just spend enough to keep the packs coming when I'm streaming. And then if there's like a really good offer, like that mecha offer, like I'll put a couple 50, 100, whatever, because I mean I have the money to do it.
The only time I've been spending money at all recently is just if they have a really good offer on a legendary and I need 1 or 2 more copies to get that legendary to level 3. Like with the mecha offer, I needed like 1 more mecha to get to level 3. So I was like, well, all right. So I bought 2 packs and I got 2 Becca Timmies out of 2 packs. Nice. I was like, well, that was worth it. 2,000 cash for 2 legendaries. So, and I stopped there. I was like, all right, I'm done.
I bought the first 9 and I got the 6th that I needed to take him to level 4. And then I bought the other 11 and I only got 2 more.
Yeah, see, I stopped. I got my 2 and I was like, and I didn't even need the second one. I was just like, well, I got 1 out of the first one. I'll buy 1 more, see if I get lucky. And I did. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 100%. I'm 2 for 2. I'm good. No more. I'll save it. Hopefully they'll do an offer with Stand of Many Moons or Ninju or something soon, because I have both of those sitting at 3 out of 4. And I would love to get both of those up to level 3. So I'll just save the money.
They did Ninju, but he was like 2,200 for a 35% chance, which was kind of shitty when you look at fucking Nakatimi and Medusa.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'd rather not have as many Ninjus running around.
Yeah, those dirty ninjas.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Melandera. I mean, ideally, I think if they do more of those 1K offers, I agree with kind of what GrayGod said, that they should limit it to maybe 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also I don't know that, like, it's hard for me to say, but it feels like sometimes that it's not really 50%. Like they say it's 50% chance, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a full distribution of what it ended up actually being, if it was close to 50 or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that brings us to the end of the podcast, everybody. I want to thank all the viewers. We had an incredible viewership today, from 30 to 50 the entire time. Appreciate all the new people who stopped by. I saw a lot of different faces in the chat, so make sure you check out everybody's channels. I'll link them while they're talking about it. But first off, I just want to link you guys to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, because that's where the VOD of this will go up. If you missed anything and you want to check it out, I was highlighting what we were talking about the whole time, and usually I do the timestamps, so you'll be able to go right to where you missed and see everything. Deranged Voices, you're one of the new guys. It's good to see you. So let's do the final word. SDNW, you got any final thing to say, and let us know where people can find you?
Yeah, another great Procast. Thank you again for having me. I know I'm pretty much a regular at this point, but I enjoy being here, so it's always fun. I'm sorry that I didn't buy any electrical tape and couldn't do the shirtless electrical tape stream, but I'm not gonna do Glanzer like that. So.
Oh man, as long as you cover those nipples, I don't mind at all.
The nipples up a little bit. But yeah, so you can find me on Twitch, SDNW. You can find me on YouTube at SDNW, and you can find me on the ladder at the Chad Mystic Player. So yeah, that's about it for me. Oh shit. Actually, I guess now's the time to announce it. Next weekend, guys. 24 to 36 hour stream. Get ready. Still trying to get a hold of Guinness. Guinness won't fucking reply to me. I've messaged them like 3 times. Guinness won't get a hold of me, but I'm just gonna record a 36-hour fucking stream and send it to him. Be like, give me the fucking world record already. Goddammit, I beat it a couple times. I want it. So yeah, potentially work. I ended up having to work for like 2 weeks straight just recently because of work stuff. So if all goes well, 24-hour at least 24-hour stream next Saturday.
Beautiful.
Be there.
Cool. You gonna do charity at all with that, or just for funsies?
I am looking for a charity right now. I give all of my proceeds from Twitch to Mission 22, but this last month I have had issues donating to them for some reason. So I'm looking for another charity. It wasn't gonna be more than like $20 I was donating, so I don't feel too terrible about it or anything, but looking for another charity. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to hit me up in the Discord with them, and I will consider them. If it's something close enough to my heart, I will absolutely do it. I also have to research the charity to make sure that they're one that gives a good amount
right
back and isn't just filling the pockets of CEOs. So
yeah, if you want to make sure you're able to message SDNW, you can join the NamFam Discord that I just posted. It is open to the public, and being in the same Discord server lets you DM people.
I am currently
Abio
at SDNW.
At SDNW
there, so.
2426 or some shit. Abio, thanks again for being here. Where can
Oh,
people
always
find
happy,
you?
man. I'm on Twitch, Abiogenesis Gaming on Twitch. I haven't been streaming as much lately because I'm working on. Well, I have a big work project that's going live on Monday, so after that goes live, I'll have a little bit more time to do more streaming. Normally, I'll stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you just go to twitch.tv/Abiogenesis Gaming, you can follow me there and get notified when I do go live. Occasionally, I'll do a weekend stream. I've been playing some Dragon Quest XI recently and really enjoying that game. But yeah, so come hang out if you want to. Other than that, I'm
always
here
a
on
good
the
time with
Procast every
Abio.
couple of weeks. Yeah.
All right, GrayGod, first time on the Procast. How do you feel, man?
Oh, it was fun. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you become one of the regulars. GrayGod, if you didn't know, is actually a bit of a Procast, or not Procast, a podcast pro. So he is a pro. He's a procaster. Holy shit.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I've been podcasting for 5 years or so. I used to do a show about comic books. Now I do a comedy show. If you want to check it out, it's available at mindfudgecomedy.com or mindfudgecomedy.com or on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play. Yeah, sure, we can put it in there. But yeah, mindfudgecomedy.com. That's my podcast.
Oh, I fucked up. Mindfudgecomedy.com. Mindfudge.comedy. I suck.
But yeah, that's my show. And I also do record some gameplay videos of South Park, and I post them on my YouTube channel, which is GrayGod77. I have not posted one in a while, but I have a ton of video I need to edit, so I'll put one up pretty soon. So you check that out too.
That sounds awesome, man. It was a pleasure having you on, man. Definitely another great voice to have on the SPPD Procast. All right, and if you're here, you clearly know who I am. If you're not, you're a newbie. Follow. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. now Central Time. I always stream South Park on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Saturdays I stream various games. Today I didn't very much because my voice is kind of shot, as you can kind of hear. And I got a Christmas party tonight, so otherwise I would be streaming more. But usually the Procast is every 2 weeks. So tentatively, as of right now, the next one will be on the 15th, which should line up with the holidays pretty well. So the lineup is to be determined, but usually it's Abio and SDNW joining us. And maybe we'll have to do more than 4 sometime. We'll have to have a big party line.
You're gonna have to change the overlay.
Yeah, I'll have to change the overlay. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for coming and watching. Thanks to all the viewers that popped in and out. Make sure you catch it on YouTube. Comment on the YouTube to answer the question at the end. That'd be really great to get a whole lot of options. Druzy, good to see you, buddy.
I think Haze Demon is streaming right now on.
Oh, well, there you go. If I could raid over to YouTube, I'd do it. But you guys have a great rest of your day. Catching it on YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good shit. I'll be dropping everybody's links on the top of their faces, and share the love. Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Peace.